What this step 8 is asking us to do is to drop this whole story that we've created about ourselves. And we can become very attached to the story, you know? Part of the story is even the inner child piece. Part of the story was, oh, my mommy did this to me, and my daddy did that to me, and then my spouse left me, and then my kid committed suicide, and on and on and on. And it's not that these stories are not real to us, but the construct of the story prevents us from making any real change in our lives. We get locked into that story. We try to create the future out of the past, and all we end up doing is creating the past over and over and over again. There has to be a shift. There has to be a let go. There has to be a wiping of the slate clean. We need a new start, a new beginning. Okay? Now, sometimes life helps us out. It comes in with a sledgehammer and a wrecking ball, and it just destroys everything about our lives, and it all falls apart. And if we don't take it personally, you know, that Shiva energy, that God of destruction energy coming into our lives is the greatest blessing that could possibly happen to us. Because now the slate is clean. Now Humpty Dumpty has fallen off the wall into billions of pieces, and there's no way we're going to put that life back together again. So we have to start all over again. That's a blessing. It doesn't feel like a blessing, but it is a blessing. Okay, so when our spiritual crisis begins, the sun of the old life slips beneath the horizon, ushering in the dark night of the soul. That's referenced in a lot of spiritual literature, the dark night of the soul. What's the dark night of the soul? It means everything that we have lived for doesn't work anymore. You know? We don't know who we are. We know that the old part of us is a lie, but we don't know what the new part of us is. So we're lost. So we enter into this period of darkness, this shadowy period in which we don't know who we are. The only thing we know is we are not who we thought we were. Okay? And this represents this image, really, that I use a lot of the caterpillar going into the cocoon. The caterpillar goes into the cocoon, and all those little tiny legs that have negotiated life begin to fall away. And it becomes a gooey mass. And it's a one-way journey. You can't turn around and get back out. If you try to turn around and get back out, forget it. What can a gooey mass do? Nothing. There is no escape. So the only way through is forward. And so we experience in the spiritual crisis that all our old friends, our work roles, the support structures that we built around our lives begin to fall apart. And the new ones haven't been created yet. So part of what we need to do if we want to be gentle with ourselves is create new support structures. People that used to be in our lives look at us and they go, what happened to you? You're not the person that I knew 20 years ago or even 5 years ago. You know, this can be our family. Some of the people who are closest to us look at us and say, I don't know you anymore. Who are you? Because we're changing. And they can't support us. They want us to show up the way we used to show up, and we can't do that anymore. So they look at us like, you know, we're from some other planet. The way we are, you know. So we want support. We need to find support from people who can understand what we're going through and who aren't going to judge us because our lives have fallen apart. People from the old life are going to judge us. They're going to say, oh, what a mess are you? Why don't you get your life together? And when we say, I can't, they're going to look at us like, you know, we're pitiful. Because they don't recognize the holiness of the moment. That's why when we train the therapists to deal with spiritual crisis, and someone walks into the therapist immediately recognizes what's going on and says, you're going through a spiritual crisis. Your old life doesn't work for you anymore. That's okay. Don't feel bad about it. Even though nobody else can understand what's going on with you, I'm familiar with this. I have other clients like you. I understand this is the rebirth of the soul. You're being born again. Whatever your frame of reference for that, the old you is dying and the new you is being born. And we're going to work together on that. We're going to learn to create a support system to midwife the birth of your soul into this life. We're doing what Jesus told us we would have to do. He said, unless you die and be reborn, you can't enter the kingdom of heaven. What is the kingdom of heaven? The kingdom of heaven is you showing up as you. That's all. As opposed to showing up the way everybody else wants you to show up. You showing up as an authentic, empowered human being. That's the kingdom of heaven.